It's me, Brandon. So far we've been learning about Moses from he was a baby to him being the prince of Egypt, and finally him becoming a shepherd. Today we're going to talk about the time God spoke to Moses using a bush that wasn't fire but did not burn up. Let's hear it. Moses was looking after the flock of his father-in-law Jethro. He led them to the far side of the wilderness to graze by a mountain called Horeb. He watched a bush that had caught fire and noticed it did not burn up. So Moses decided to take a closer look. Suddenly God called to him from inside the burning bush. Moses. Here I am, Lord, replied Moses. God told Moses to take off his shoes, for he was on holy ground. I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, God announced. At this, Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look at God. God told Moses that he had seen the suffering of the Hebrew slaves. He was going to rescue them and lead them to a land of milk and honey where they would be free. Go to Pharaoh and bring my people out of Egypt, God instructed. Moses started making excuses. Who am I to do this? God promised to be with Moses. He also promised that he will make a way for the Hebrews to come and worship him on this mountain. But if we go to the Hebrew leaders, who shall I say sent me? Asked Moses. Tell them I am who I am, has sent you. I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. My name is forever. God instructed Moses to go to the leaders of Israel with the message God was going to rescue them from slavery and lead them to the land he had promised. Moses and the leaders were then to tell Pharaoh to let the Hebrews go and worship the Lord God in the wilderness. Moses still kept making excuses. But what if they won't listen to me? He asked. God asked Moses what he held in his hand. A staff, replied Moses. Draw it in the ground, said the Lord. When he drew his staff to the ground, it became a snake. Moses was scared and jumped away from it. Reach out your hand and take the snake by the tail, said the Lord. As Moses grabbed the snake's tail, it turned back into a staff. This time will help him believe, said the Lord God. Now put your hand inside your cloak. Moses put his hand inside his cloak, but when he pulled it out, it was white with a terrible skin disease called leprosy. Now put your hand back in your cloak, God ordered. When Moses pulled his hand out from his cloak a second time, his hand was healed. If the Hebrew readers don't believe these two signs, then take some water from the Nile and pour it on the dry ground. I will make the water turn to blood, the Lord told Moses. But Moses still kept making excuses. I find it hard to speak well or very clearly. You gave people their mouths, replied the Lord. I will help you speak and teach you what to say. But Moses still made excuses. Please send someone else to do this. God was angry with Moses. Your brother Aaron the Levite can speak well. He is on his way to meet you. He will be your spokesman. Take your staff in your hand so you will be able to perform miracles. So Moses returned to his father-in-law Jethro and asked his permission to return his people in Egypt. Go, and wish you well, replied Jethro. Aaron had already been told by God to travel to meet them. The Egyptians who remember what you did and wanted revenge are now all dead. God reassured Moses. The two brothers met up on Mount Horeb, the mountain of God, and welcomed each other. Moses shared with Aaron all that God had told him. Then they all set off for Egypt to tell the Hebrew leaders that God had plans to rescue them. This Bible story, we can see how God miraculously spoke to Moses. We can also see how Moses considered himself inadequate to deliver Israel from slavery. Moses argued that he couldn't speak very clearly. Moses was concerned that he didn't have what it took to be a liberator of Israel. But God responded by saying, Who gave people their mouths? Replied the Lord. I will help you speak and teach you what to say. In the last lesson, we learned that God always has a plan for your life. Once you find out that God's calling for your life, you have to fulfill the plan that He has for you. Even if you don't feel like you don't have what it takes to do it, know that God will capacitate you with the skills you need, and He will always be there helping you. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye!